Hello everyone, I'm Tom and this is Tom's Funny Magic. Today I'm going to be explaining passive income and yield. I would again like to say that I hope you're all doing okay in lockdown because I know it's hard not being able to see your friends and having to do all of your work from home. I would like to start by explaining passive income. Passive income is all of the income that you would receive that requires little to no effort to get. This would include dividends that you may receive from your stocks, and all that you would need to do is basically just buy those stocks in the first place, and then you don't need to do anything, and they'll passively give you dividends every 6 months or so. Also, keep in mind that some shares might not actually give you dividends. Passive income could also mean the income that you may receive from your investment property. After you've bought the property, all you need to do is make sure that you have a tenant in there, and then you may only spend a little bit of time each month just to make sure that everything's okay with the property. The income that you would receive from the property would be all of the rent that you would receive minus all of the costs that you would have to pay. There are also other forms of passive income, but I won't list them all now. I just hope that you can now understand what would classify as passive income. Most people would talk about the passive income being the total income of all of the different passive income streams. So for example, you may get $3,000 in dividends for that year from all of your different shares, and you may earn $14,000 in income from your investment property for that year. So this would mean during that year, for basically no work, you have earned $17,000. A good estimate for the required amount of time to maintain your investment property would be around 1 hour a month, just to make sure that everything's okay. So an investment property requires not that much effort for quite a lot of income in terms of passive income. Now, onto defining yield. So yield in relation to shares is talking about the ratio between how much you would earn per share for your dividends divided by the total share price. You would calculate yield in terms of a percentage. You would find that percentage by dividing the amount of money that you would receive per share for your dividend by the share price that it was at the time that you received that dividend. And then you would times this all by 100, because otherwise you would be left with a number between 1 and 0. So for example, let's say that you received a dividend for a share that you may own. This company paid you $1.37 per share, and the current share price is $63.46. So you would have to divide the $1.36 for the dividend price by $63.46, and then you would times that by 100. And because these are not that easy whole numbers to divide by, you would want to use a calculator for it. So after you put this into your calculator, you would end up with a yield of 2.16%. And that's if you round it to 2 decimal places. It was around 2.588. But you can also use yield to represent how much money your investment property would make. So at the end of the calendar year or at the end of the financial year, you would work out how much money you'd made from rent during that year. And then you would divide that by the purchase price of the property. So for example, let's say you received $15,000 in rent for that year, and the purchase price of the property was around $450,000. So if you divided the $15,000 by $450,000, then you would end up with a yield of 4%. That's all for me today. Thank you for listening. If you could, can you please subscribe to me, as that would bring me closer to my first big milestone of 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Also, feel free to check out my website if you haven't already. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback, please do that in the comment section below or on the contact us page on my website. Thank you. See ya.